What's up, and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of We Seen It. Today, we're going to be talking about the Netflix original movie, Red Notice, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Gal Gadot, and my boy, Ryan Reynolds. I'm your host, Nate the Great.
And it's your boy, Q.
So without further ado, let's talk about it. All right, Red Notice. So this movie, in a nutshell, according to the internet, it is in a world of international crime. An Interpol agent attempts to hunt down and capture the world's most wanted art thief. That's pretty much the whole premise of this movie. And going in, it delivered. I gotta say, it really did deliver. Now, of course, you got Ryan Reynolds in it, and you got Dwayne Johnson in it. So, of course, it's automatically going to be a comedy. I mean, it's in this case an action and comedy. And then they threw in a wrench for me. I didn't realize that Gal Gadot was going to do so well with these characters here, but they put in Gal Gadot in here, and man, I really loved her as a character. And so
I feel like she was like their balance because you got Ryan Reynolds, hands down one of the funniest man on earth. You got Dwayne, who's all over the place, music, movies, TV, all types of stuff, right? So she's that kind of that the balance between
the glue, to hold everything. I was just thinking that for Dwayne Johnson, I don't know how many movies this man does in a given year. But this man, I mean, I've seen this man on social media. I've seen this man rapping. I've seen this man doing comedy, doing action.
When I tell you that his song is all over TikTok. Man, I remember Dwayne back from WWE. I remember when he was first actor, when he went on, he featured on some Disney Channel show. It was the one with Selena Gomez, Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
Yes. So I remember when he first started out, trying to be an actor, and now he's here. Yeah, world-renowned actor, amazing.
Yeah, and then Ryan Reynolds, I think the most recent movie I saw from him was what is that movie he was in the video game? Free Guy. That was the most recent movie I saw from him, and seeing him back on the big screen with heavy hitters like Dwayne and Gal Gadot, just really made me happy to see them all together. Like I said, this movie was a hit for me. I don't know about you, Q. Did you like the movie?
Dude, honestly, the twists, the turns, it was all really great. Every character held their own, including the Interpol agent. I don't want to mess her name up. Ritu Arya. Mm-hmm. She was actually the same. I knew she was gonna do a good job because of what she did in Umbrella Academy. She was the chameleon character in that show. She did such a good job in that. Mm-hmm. I knew she was gonna do a good job here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, basically, you have four main characters. You have the Interpol agent, you have an FBI agent, you have a con man, you have an art thief, and the whole premise is basically they're after these eggs. Okay, so basically, they make up a story about Cleopatra and how on her birthday, her father gave her these 3 eggs that were like made out of pure gold, and they were just amazing, right? But centuries later, I guess these eggs either got lost, were either auctioned off or put in a museum. So they're all over the world that really no one knows where all 3 of them are at any given time. And so later on, this very, very rich person in Egypt, I think it's in Egypt, he wants to give his daughter, who he named, I believe, Cleopatra, these eggs, and he's given out a certain amount of money to whoever can
$3 million for
$3 million to whoever can find all 3 eggs and bring it to his daughter on their birthday. And of course, you got the thieves, the art thieves, and the con man who are going to try everything in their power to get these eggs and bring it to them. So that's what this whole thing is about. And I think that they executed this movie very well throughout the entire movie from beginning to end. At least for me, it was super, super entertaining. I mean, the jokes were funny. Ryan Reynolds, that dude, I don't know why.
The thing about Ryan Reynolds is no matter what character he is, it's always some of Ryan Reynolds.
All the time.
And that's the best part. No matter who he is.
All the time.
You always have half of Ryan Reynolds in there. Just set aside the actual jokes. Just some of the normal conversations they had in the movie were drop dead hilarious. I saw the Vanity Fair thing the 3 of them did, just getting to know each other. And DJ literally said, he was like, man, something that always makes me laugh was just every day on the set with these two. Because like some scenes we couldn't get through because we just kept laughing. That's amazing.
Ryan Reynolds is one of those people who, no matter what character they play, like you just said, he plays himself. It's like he doesn't have to act. It's Ryan Reynolds. Only very, very few people have that, you know. I mean, Will Smith kind of does it, and Robert Downey Jr. kind of plays himself. But though it's very, very rare where a character, or I should say an actor, can play different characters and just play themselves and it still be flawless. And that's exactly how Ryan Reynolds did it. There was specifically a prison scene, not to spoil anything, because it's not a spoiler review. But there was specifically a prison scene, and in that scene, I was cracking up because Ryan Reynolds' character is just stupid. He's just an idiot and he's dumb and he's just, God, he had me cracking up laughing. Gal Gadot's character, I pretty much everybody knows her from Wonder Woman, right? Superhero, you know, she's flying with these swords and stuff, but she plays a she plays a thief. She plays the
art thief, the bishop.
Exactly. The
significant. She's considered the world's greatest art thief, which is Ryan Reynolds' character is literally considered the world's second greatest because they're both competing for number one slot.
Exactly. And of course, you know, that's gonna butt heads, but it was interesting and wonderful seeing her character, you know, play an art thief, play the bad guy, the villain. But like I said, this movie isn't like dark or anything. It's very lighthearted, very funny, very action packed. I thought the action scenes were very well done. Anytime they were running and climbing on things, jumping over things, anytime there were guns firing or they were having fight scenes one-on-one, I thought the tension was high. I just thought honestly everything was just very well done.
One thing that I liked mainly about the movie, and I know this is a very small detail, they didn't overpower Dwayne like they always do. And everything he's like this super macho, like can take anybody type of dude.
Yes.
But in this one, if you watch the movie, he kind of sits back and plays the sidekick. He's the Robin of the story, right? Yeah. So I just realized the fact that they did not overpower him like they always did. Ryan Reynolds was Batman. And he was a really great one. I mean, yes, he was. I've never seen him play like a smarter character. He's still Ryan Reynolds, still cracking jokes. But his character, the Nolan Booth, was very intelligent. He knew what he was doing at all times. He planned ahead. I love that.
Yep. Dude, you actually make a perfect point because actually when watching the movie, I literally said to myself, I said, man, I hope that they don't make The Rock's character like just overpowered dude who's basically invincible. He's like a walking Superman. Because like in his Fast and Furious franchises, like he's just like really nobody could do that. Like he's over here breaking out of a cast out of his arm, over here ripping out stone walls out of another.
It makes no sense. I think he blew up in one of the movies and walked away. Perfectly.
Exactly. I'm like, there's no way. So when I was coming to see this movie, I was like, man, I mean, as entertaining as it is, it's just I don't feel like having to suspend my disbelief. I just wanted to be a normal movie, and they delivered. Of course, because in real life he is a huge dude. Like he's like a walking boulder. They still played off of that because honestly, I mean, you can't get away from that.
No, absolutely not.
He's like a walking wall. But they didn't, like you said, they did not overbear it, which made it so much more entertaining. And the fact that they made Ryan Reynolds kind of like the Batman type of I can get through anything. It was amazing. And personally, I love kind of like spy movies and spy movie and heist movies are kind of the same in the sense of having to break through things, having to open up safes and things and not get caught. And so I really like that because I just watched the newest James Bond about a month ago, and it was really good. You know, it's like that kind of spy stuff. And so when this movie dropped, I was like, oh, it's like the spy stuff, but from a bad guy's point of view.
Yeah.
In a humorous way. And I really love movies like that because it's always high tension, right? And it's always trying to put yourself in their shoes. Like, man, if I was in their position, how would I do this? Or how would I escape from this? If, let's say, lasers came out, or if a lock on a safe locked at a certain time and it could only lock one time or something. It's just like, man, what would I do? So it's always entertaining. It's interesting because I recently looked up on IMDb the ratings for this movie. Now, you and I were just talking about how much we loved it and how great it was.
Yeah.
But it got a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I thought was
Whoa.
interesting. I know. Because now, granted, Rotten Tomatoes is not always a reliable source. There are plenty of movies where the ratings were low on Rotten Tomatoes, but I went in to go see it, or I saw other people's reviews online and they said, dude, don't listen to them. It's actually really great. But then again, there are other times where Rotten Tomatoes does
is
like
very, very accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to see that Rotten Tomatoes didn't.
Yeah.
This was, like I said, because it's a perfect balance between action and comedy, and like the storyline is well written. Now, you really can't tell what's gonna happen next.
Right.
I mean, you hear something, but then boom, automatically change. Boom, it's just everything goes haywire. It's a very believable story. It seems like it's actually happening in real time. So the fact that Rotten Tomatoes didn't do that, I mean, but like you said, they got Shang-Chi wrong. They said it wasn't going to do good for a few weeks, but then it popped off and was phenomenal. So
yeah, I know. It's like I guess that's the epitome of people's opinions. One other person's opinion could be, mean one thing, and someone else's opinion can mean something different. It's all based off how the user really feels. But yeah, this movie had a $200 million budget, and so far it's only made $2 million
back
in the box office. Yeah,
wow.
Which is surprising because I was doing the research and they said it was Netflix's biggest opening in history. I mean, you got three big giants like Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, and The Rock all in one movie. You would think that this movie's about to just pop off, but I'm really surprised that the ratings are as they are right now. I will say, I mean, it came out about 2 weeks ago or so it could build up some more traction, as the more people start watching it. But like you were saying, the storyline was super believable. While watching it, there were a lot of twists in it, and in every twist, it kind of caught you off guard. Now, there was one really big twist which I kind of hoped for. I'm not gonna say I anticipated it or I wanted it to happen, but let me backtrack. I'm not going to say I anticipated it to happen and that I knew it was coming, but I will say that I wanted it to happen. And when it did happen, I was satisfied. I was like, yes, that for me, that just made the whole movie, just gave me like an A rating. I was like, yes, I needed that to happen. I wanted that to happen. They went through with it. Perfect.
I know what you're talking about. I know the exact scene you're talking about. And like I said, because I generally tend to watch the same like basis movies. Generally, I'm more of a sci-fi person, so I kind of know where and when what's going to happen, what's going to take place, when the big bag is going to reveal itself, and all that stuff. But this one that I could not anticipate. But not only could I not anticipate it, I was at first I was upset that it happened, but I was glad that it did happen because you don't have the classic fairy tale ending where this happens and we all live happily ever after, or the thieves get exactly what they want. It was a really good ending, so it's an ending to set up another movie. Honestly, if they try to, they could make a Red Notice 2. They don't have to throw in a few more characters. They really don't. But if they wanted to, they could. But it was a really good cliffhanger ending.
Yes. Basically, the ending ended off with what the title of the movie was, Red Notice. And basically, for those who don't know, because I didn't know, so I had to look it up. But a Red Notice is basically an Interpol notice sent out to alert the Interpol to communicate information about crimes, criminals, and threats by police in a manner state to their counterparts around the world. So basically, in layman's terms, they get all the police, all the FBI, all the Interpol agents involved in this person who is a very, very, very high threat to the world. And so they try everything in their power to capture them. I think the most difficult part about the FBI or Interpol agents in this movie trying to capture these criminals is that they are so good at what they do, they can pretty much escape out of anything. They just know how to, they're not just thieves. They don't just know how to steal things. They know how to break out of things. They know how to, you lock them up in chains or put them in the handcuffs. They're going to pretty much get out. So it's going to be very, very hard.
I liked that aspect too, because Ryan Reynolds isn't like a super skinny, tiny guy. At the same time, he's not hulking ripped. So yes, they made the Rock's character unable to fight. But Ryan Reynolds' character was just like, he was almost just a street fighter,
Yeah.
Just enough to get away. But you know, you're not gonna see him breaking glass and throwing people over tables, because it seems like in every other movie, someone who is super intelligent also knows how to like do karate or kung fu and all that stuff. It's like that's not generally realistic. So I like the fact that he was intelligent. He also was super overskilled in fighting. Yes. But The Rock was, because he is an FBI agent in the show, in the movie. So it makes sense. Everything, like I said earlier, it seemed like a believable story. Everything was realistic.
Exactly. You know, this movie kind of reminds me of, now that, you know, we're talking about it, it kind of reminds me of Now You See Me, how these were, you know, thieves, but they were magicians. They could break out of things, or, you know, con people or steal people's watches without them knowing. It was kind of gave off that vibe, but just in a much more comedic sense. But if I had to compare a movie, it would be kind of, you know, close to that.
Yeah, I agree.
Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I have to keep bringing it back to how realistic it was, because not only was one thing I will say, this is my final thought. I like the fact how there wasn't backstories, because like when you have a backstory, you have a flashback.
Yep.
That's filler time, right? Exactly. So it's like, that's why are we doing this? Like, we can easily have a funny dialogue or a nice joke. It wasn't that filler time. It was just any backstory or flashback they could have used. They just said it in a quick, brief, like 5-minute story. Boom. Right.
Anytime they brought up a flashback was to reveal. They brought it after the twist, and they showed you where it was, like where you may have missed it, and it's like, that makes more sense. And they showed you
exactly. So that's the only time they brought flashbacks. They didn't bring him back when they were 2 or 3 and how great or terrible life was. None of that. It was just the story. Anything that was 2 or 3, they talked about. Anytime
they talked about their past, they would be talking about it in a conversation. You know, it wouldn't be, this happened to me, and they go on this long flashback of a child being held in the arms or being abused or something. It wasn't like that. It was like a regular conversation, like me and you. I'm telling you about my past or something. It's just like that, and it kind of flow, and it made the movie flow very well, and it made it more realistic. And I just feel like it was a well-rounded movie all around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you have not seen Red Notice, again, it's on Netflix. Get a Netflix subscription or use your friends. Don't matter. Watch this movie if you have not seen it. We would love to know your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about Red Notice. And I guess we'll see you next time. This has been We Seen It. Thanks.
Well.
Yo, that's okay. Before we get into it, initial thoughts. All right, we'll start off with you, Dota. Which initial thoughts when you first saw, like, as it's all going on?
Surprised. I was like shocked. I'm actually, oh my gosh, now I'm really excited for this. One thing I did not see was any appearances of any other Spider-Men. But you know, other than that, I'm actually really, I know this is gonna be really good.
All right, Vin.
Well, I just have to say first, it was so much. I felt like it's just, you never really know what's going on. It was so much happening all at once. And I think that was really cool about it. And even seeing, that kind of the scene where MJ was falling, it kind of looked like that scene in Andrew Garfield's movie. So let's hope she doesn't die the same way. But yeah, I think it's a lot in store, and I'm really, really excited for that.
All right, talk to me, Shinobi.
Jamie Foxx. That's all that matters. Normal looking Jamie Foxx. That's all that matters. It's my only takeaway from this.
That's it. Your only wow. Okay. Well,
I mean, not like we can't just disrespect Otto Octavius like that. That's the audacity of these children. It's your generation who would make fun of Otto Octavius. That's SMH. But that's my thoughts.
My initial thought was, I agree with Dota. There was no other Spider-Man, like, even throughout, of course, these aren't clips all from one scene. There were clips throughout the movie. So you would think somewhere along the line, like, they would a shadow or something. And because honestly, I heard a rumor or a leak that in the end of the trailer, it was supposed to be like 2 shadow figures of 2 other Spider-Man. but they were gonna actually show their faces. But it looked like this is all like solo Tom Holland. And like everyone kept saying, oh, we saw a lizard, but he actually peered out. And that's what I kind of want to get into, because like the whole thing, the whole plot of this movie is supposed to be the Sinister Six. And we all know props to Stan Lee and Steve Ditko for making the Sinister Six back in 1964. There have been like 15 iterations of it, but I mean, I say they picked some pretty heavy hitters for this version of the Sinister Six. I liked it. It was, I don't know, it was just also, it was so much. Yeah, like Vince said, there was just so much in this trailer. It's so much to dissect. What did you guys think about the fight scene? They elongated the fight scene between Benedict Cumberbatch's character, Doctor Strange, and Tom Holland's character, Spider-Man. What do you guys think about this fight scene? Anybody can jump on the floor.
I really liked it. I think it adds to because you have Doc Ock, who is now, I thought he was going to be going against Peter, but now he's kind of being that, of course, father figure again, like he was to the original Peter Parker. But so because of that, now I feel like they're trying to make Doctor Strange more so the villain, especially with what MJ was saying, like, oh, this is your fault, essentially. So I think it'll add some unction, to the movie, and yeah, I think it'll be good.
I didn't realize that they're all dead. I didn't realize that till watching this trailer. Everyone's dead. They all died in their respective movies. So
Sandman died?
They all died.
I remember Sandman died.
They all, William Dafoe died. His son. Did anyone else also catch that? Like, there's another Green Goblin. Did anyone else catch that? There's like 2 Green Goblins in there.
There was 2? No, I cannot see.
There's like one with a mask and one that looks like James Franco. I could be wrong, but it looked like 2 different people.
Whoa, I didn't see that.
Ooh, that would be good.
But they're all dead. Jamie Foxx blew up in Andrew Garfield's version. Lizard died. Sandman died. So it's interesting. He said like they're all ghosts. So I'm curious how that's an interesting loophole. That they're all dead. And then I'm just curious what happens to all the Spider-Men who may or may not appear in this movie if they all die. That's interesting. So I'm interested to see that answered, because yeah, they're all dead, at least in the movie movies. So it's interesting. I'm interested.
Right. I'm gonna comment on what he just said after Vin says her thing. Go ahead, man.
Well, I would have to agree with Doda. I definitely think they're gonna make Doctor Strange look like the villain, especially since, the audience has kind of already tried to, he's always like, oh, this is the only option. And everybody's like, that doesn't really make sense. There's got to have been more options. So I feel like he is going to become a very large antagonist in this movie, especially because of everything that has happened in Peter Parker's life. And it just seems like Doctor Strange is kind of making it worse. So I think he's definitely going to become a villain.
Okay. So to comment on Holy Shinobi, that's what was one of the leaks. It was the fact that they're all being pulled from the universes moments before they died. Apparently, that was what was said. But like, even to that aspect, the Lizard and Jamie Foxx were from the same universe, but 2 different times. So how they're pulled, that's gonna be. Marvel better explain that, because that doesn't make sense. But yes, the leak was the fact that they're being pulled from their respective universes right before they die. Because yes, William Dafoe, he got stabbed in the chest. Like you said, Jamie Foxx blew up. The Lizard fell off of something. He fell off like a skyscraper. I can't remember. But I don't know how Sandman died. I didn't even remember Sandman died. But everyone, and then Dr. Octopus, he fell off. He fell into the fire, right? So, but at the end of his movie, that was Spider-Man 2, the first Spider-Man 2, he came back to his senses like, okay, this was wrong. What he was doing was wrong, all that stuff. So I have to disagree with you. I don't think there's going to be a villain. I just think that Spider-Man being the lovable, there has to be another way character he is, has to disagree with Doctor Strange, who this is the only way, because he literally said in the trailer, this is their fate. They have to die by the hand of Spider-Man in their own respective universes. And by not doing so, that could collapse their own universe or the Marvel universe, the one we're in, the MCU. So I don't think there's gonna be a per se villain in this scene, because even in the first trailer we saw. Say it again.
Well, because when I was watching the trailer, Electro, he said something like, "You're not gonna take this away from me," or something like that. And I don't know what
would
that
be
means.
his life again? Would he be sent back to
his skin is normal and that gap is gone. That's what it.
They got rid of the gap.
He got rid of his.
He became Electro.
He was blue. He's the normal black man in this trailer. So that's like an already we're retconning things. Yeah. So I'm definitely interested in how they explain all that. Also, I think this is gonna be more of like an adventure movie than like there's a bad guy. I remember like the first set photos, like they were like in a temple of doom situation. They're in some sort of something, looking for something. So I'm sure there's some MacGuffin thing they gotta look for. Like he said, they're gonna Scooby-Doo this thing, whatever that means. So, yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, wait a minute. They did say Scooby-Doo. Like the main plot of Scooby-Doo was figure out who was the guy behind the mask. So what mask are we trying to unveil here when he says Scooby-Doo this thing?
Well, no, I think in Scooby-Doo they're also pulling people from different, like, I think there was some series where they were pulling people from different.
Yeah, there was a series of Scooby-Doo when it was like a whole bunch of different variations of shows were coming in. So I think that was kind of what he was.
I think they're just saying there's a mystery to be solved here, and I don't think it's that deep. Yeah, I think, and this is probably they're smart because this is the last trailer. We're not getting anything else after this, so
which is crazy.
We'll just be speculating for the next 30 days.
Oh wow, 30 days. Oh my gosh, guys. I promise you I'm gonna be the first person to get their ticket at the Regal Theater. Honestly,
go fun with that.
I'm super excited because, like I said, I'm just glad they finally elaborated on the box. So clearly, I can't remember what the box is called in the comic books right now, but the box that he stole from Spider-Man stole from Dr. Clearly, this is the thing that's supposed to like trap them all. I'm not sure, but I'm interested to see on how he realizes, or like, because another leak was the fact that William Dafoe's character is supposed to somehow swindle Tom Holland's character into saving them all. So I wonder how they're gonna just send. They have to be sent back. That's obvious. I wonder how.
Why would Doctor Strange have a problem with Peter taking the box to send them back? What is the?
No, Peter's trying to save them from dying, right? Because like I said, they're all pulled away from their respective universes moments before they're dead.
Oh, okay.
Doctor Strange is putting them back so they can die. Peter's trying to figure out another way. So
it also makes sense that like at the end of the Venom end credit scene, he's pulled from his dimension.
That was what I was gonna say. I was like,
but then that's stupid because then that implies that there's Topher Grace also has to come back as the Venom from Spider-Man 3. If we're playing by these rules, we have to have two Venoms.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I mean, if you want to peel off to Venom, like
I want to see two Venoms from two different.
The end credit scene of Venom, he literally saw Peter and was like, "I want to eat him." Like he literally licked the TV. Some people speculate. I talked to some people in my theater. They were like, all the symbiotes are part of a hive mind. So what one knows, they all know. So if they are bringing back the other Venom, then it's a hive mind. So they're connected. So they would both know that they hate Peter. But I would also like to see Peter don the Venom suit, the Tom Holland. So the Venom that we've just seen, I can't even think of any character's name right now. The Venom we just saw, he can get the classic white spider and the webs. Right now, all we're seeing is black ooze everywhere.
I think what's probably gonna happen is they're gonna pull all these Spider-Man right from the movies that they were in. I'm sure that we'll get Tobey Maguire from like Into the Spider-Verse, right? Like they pulled them right out of their universes in the middle of them doing things. So I'm assuming that makes more sense, right? It explains why the villains are still alive and how the Spider-Man are like still Spider. Because like Tobey, I still don't know what happens at the end of Spider-Man 3. It just kind of ends. So I'm assuming this is like, let's say this is like Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire, and like Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield, or something. That's interesting. I think that's neat.
Okay, I have a question for everybody because this has been going on. I think it's true. So, like, we all know Sony and Marvel are doing this thing with Spider-Man. Do you guys think they're going to incorporate somehow, some way, Miles Morales? Because that's a rumor is going on that they're going to animate everybody for a second.
I don't think they're going to animate.
Nope.
I don't think we'll do that.
Doubt it.
Why? I mean, like, what? Why not skip 3? Let's bring in 4.
No.
I think it could be.
They may like. I don't know if there's going to be like a scene where they're showing them being put back into like, or all the realms are going to be shown at some point or something like that, to where we'll get like flashes or glimpses. But I don't think like to make a whole. Yeah, I don't know.
Like 15 seconds, like, or not even a full scene.
I will be glad if I just see Tobey for 5 seconds.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll be okay with
we're
that.
really pushing here.
My thing is though, Miles Morales' world had his own like Spider-Man Spider-Verse, so it's like it'd be too much. You'd have to add in all these.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I doubt it.
It'd be too much.
I doubt it. So much doubt. But hey, if it happens, wow. But probably not.
All right, closing remarks on the trailer. We'll start with you, Vin.
I was very intrigued by it. I am very excited to see it. I've heard a lot of conspiracies that people have about the movies and what might happen, and I think that it makes me really want to see the movie. I'm really just ready to put all the conspiracies to rest, to see what actually happens. So yeah.
All right, Dodo.
Vinny said a great word, conspiracy. So my closing remarks are, I'm about to go watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos on the breakdown of this trailer and, get some insight. Because, I mean, just watching it, you're not really going to get that much out of it. But people literally spend their time breaking down each and every single second of this. So I'm about to learn some more information on this, and I'm really excited. I don't know how I'm going to be able to watch it the day it releases because people are gonna fill up movie theaters all over. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch it the day of, but I will be there to watch it.
I will be staying off of social media for the next 30 days because Lord knows whenever this movie drops, people will be spoiling it all over the social medias. Yeah. Also, trailers lie. Trailers have lied. Marvel trailers especially have been lying a lot lately, shamelessly. So, I'm still skeptical. But, I will watch it, maybe not premiere day, but sometime,
Guys, I'm more than excited. I cannot wait to see the unfold, the development of Peter, because this is the first time we even mentioned, this is the second time we mentioned the spider. The first time was to Ned in the first movie. So Peter's gonna develop, MJ, Ned, they're all gonna be I'm ready. Don't forget to watch it. September 17th. All right, guys. We saw it, now go see it.
All right.